Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into something really fascinating, something we're calling the wealth habit blueprint.
Yeah, it's quite a compelling set of sources we've looked at.
Absolutely. And we're tackling a big question based on this material. Everyone gets the same 24 hours, right? So why do some people build, serious wealth, lasting wealth, while others struggle?
It really gets to the heart of behavioral finance, doesn't it?
Mm.
And what the sources consistently point towards, it's surprisingly clear.
It's not just luck or
Yeah.
being incredibly smart.
Not primarily, no. The sources argue pretty strongly that the real difference, the core reason for that divergence, boils down to, well, habits. Just small daily decisions, the stuff you do automatically.
Okay, habits. So let's unpack this blueprint. Our goal today for you listening isn't just to list off 10 habits. We want to get into the why behind them, the mechanics, the psychology.
Exactly. We're going deep on these 10 critical distinctions, the sort of operating system differences between people who build wealth and those who find it harder.
Hmm.
We want to show you where the switch points are,
Right, moving beyond just save more money.
way beyond. We're looking at the underlying philosophy, how successful people think about time, how they use their money, how they handle risk, even who they hang out with.
So by breaking down these 10 shifts, the idea is you get a roadmap, a clear guide on where to focus your energy for the biggest impact on your financial future.
That's the plan. Let's get started.
Okay, let's dive into the first one. Habit number 1, the time horizon. And the contrast here is, well, it's stark. It really sets the stage for everything else.
It really does.
The sources say the wealthy think long term, like decades ahead, setting goals 10, 20, maybe even 30 years out.
Well, the comparison group, those struggling, they're often focused on just today,
Mm.
or maybe the next week, getting by short-term comfort, basically.
It sounds like a simple difference, but the implications are huge.
Oh, massive. Because the wealthy understand, maybe intuitively or maybe explicitly, the power of compounding. They see time as this incredible force multiplier for money.
It's not just a philosophy, it's math.
Exactly. It's physics, almost. A small decision today, investing a little, learning a skill, making a connection, they see that payoff years down the line. They're optimizing for future freedom, not immediate gratification.
But that's the tough part, isn't it? Giving up something now for something later. Our brains aren't really wired that way.
Not naturally, no. And the source material really nails this. It says every time you make an impulse buy, or you skip investing just this once, or you choose scrolling over learning, you're basically trading.
Trading long-term gain for short-term pleasure, that immediate comfort hit.
Precisely. It's an anchor. Overcoming that bias, that need for the immediate reward, is like the first major hurdle the blueprint identifies.
So how do they do it? How do they keep that long view?
Well, the sources suggest a deliberate practice. Setting aside specific time, maybe like 5–10% of their planning time each month, just to think about and plan for 10+ years out, mapping their financial health way into the future.
Which is something most people probably never do, right? They look at their bank balance when a bill is due.
Pretty much. The sources argue that wealth really starts to build the moment you commit to planning for that future self. That doesn't even exist yet.
Thinking decades ahead. Okay. That long-term view makes the next habit almost necessary. Habit number 2, the saving strategy, paying yourself first.
Ah, yes. This one fundamentally changes the flow of money. It flips the script.
Explain that. What's the typical flow, the poor habit?
Okay, so the paycheck lands. What happens next?
Yeah.
Usually, money flows out. Rent, mortgage, bills, debt payments, subscriptions. Everyone else gets paid first.
Right. And then you kind of cross your fingers and hope there's something left at the end of the month to save.
Hope is the key word. And often, lifestyle just expands to eat up whatever comes in. There's rarely anything left.
So the rich habit.
It inverts that completely.
Yeah.
Saving and investing isn't an afterthought. It's the first bill you pay. Often it's automated. Money comes in, a percentage goes straight to savings or investments. Then you figure out how to live on what's left.
That sounds like forced discipline.
It is forced discipline, and it's incredibly powerful psychologically. You're not relying on willpower at the end of the month when you're tired and tempted. You've built a structure.
So say 15% comes off the top right away.
Could be 10%, 15%, whatever the plan is. But it happens first. The key takeaway from the sources is, saving comes before spending, not after. It forces your lifestyle to adjust to the remainder, automatically preventing that lifestyle creep.
Okay, that makes sense. But hang on. How can someone commit to paying themselves first, doing habit 2, if they're scared to even look at their bank account? If they're avoiding the whole topic?
Excellent point. That leads us straight into habit number 3, Facing financial reality. Tracking versus avoidance.
Because habits 1 and 2 need information, right?
They absolutely need data. The sources are clear. Rich people know their numbers. Income, expenses, investments, net worth. They track it, they face it, they run their personal finances almost like a business, objectively.
But that avoidance thing is so real. We've all felt it. Ugh, I don't want to look at my statement this month, or I'll sort out that debt later.
Yeah, it's a defense mechanism trying to avoid immediate discomfort.
Yeah.
But the blueprint is blunt here. Ignorance is incredibly expensive.
How so?
Well, if you don't track, you can't see where the money's going. You can't spot problems like where you're leaking cash.
Yeah.
You definitely can't make realistic long-term plans like we talked about in Habit 1.
So you're flying blind.
Completely. Now, the blueprint isn't necessarily saying track every single penny down to the last coffee. That could be exhausting. It's more about tracking the key indicators.
Like what?
Your savings rate month to month, your total debt level, and probably most importantly, your net worth trend over time. Are you going up or down? Focusing on the big picture.
Got it. So tracking isn't just busy work. It's about getting the data you need to make smart decisions. It tells you where you can maybe cut back to fund those savings goals for Habit 2.
Exactly.
And it gives you the milestones for that long-term plan in Habit 1. It takes the emotion out and puts intelligence in. What you don't measure, you really can't manage.
You nailed it. You cannot control or optimize what you don't measure.
Okay, so we've got the mindset foundation. Long-term view, pay yourself first, track your numbers. Now let's talk about how money is actually used. Habit number 4, defining value, buying assets versus liabilities.
Right. This is where a lot of confusion happens, especially in our consumer culture.
So let's get crystal clear definitions based on the blueprint. What's an asset?
Okay, simple definition according to these sources. An asset puts money in your pocket. Think appreciation, interest, dividends, rent. So stocks, bonds, maybe income-producing real estate, part of a business.
Things that generate value or cash flow. And liability.
A liability consistently takes money out of your pocket. It needs feeding, maintenance, insurance, payments, and it usually loses value over time.
So cars, most gadgets, clothes. Things that depreciate the moment you buy them.
Pretty much. The rich habit prioritizes acquiring those assets, those growth engines. Even if they cost money up front, the expectation is they'll pay back more over time.
Whereas the poor habit is often exchanging capital, money, for things that just disappear in value, consumption.
Exactly. And here's a really important point the sources make. This difference usually isn't about how smart someone is. It's about awareness.
Awareness, how so?
Most people just aren't consciously thinking in these terms. They don't categorize purchases this way. Advertising trains us to see expensive liabilities like a fancy car or maybe even a huge house you can barely afford as symbols of wealth, when financially they might be anchors.
Okay, let's push on that a bit. The house example. Is a primary residence an asset or a liability? That's a constant debate.
It is. And the blueprint forces us to use that cash flow test. Your primary home, the one you live in. It costs you money every month, right? Mortgage, taxes, insurance, upkeep, takes money out. So technically,
A liability.
according to this strict definition, yes. Now, an investment property that you rent out and the rent covers all the costs and hopefully leaves you profit, that's an asset. It puts money in your pocket.
So the key behavior isn't never buying liabilities, but constantly trying to shift your capital towards things that generate income or grow.
That's the core idea. Asking yourself before every significant purchase, like the blueprint suggests, 6 months from now, will this thing have made me richer or poorer?
That's a powerful filter. Okay, building on that, let's talk debt. Habit 5, leveraging capital. Strategic versus emotional debt. We hear debt is bad all the time.
Yeah, that's the common wisdom. But the wealthy often see debt differently. They see it as a tool, a potential accelerator.
But it's about how you use it.
Precisely. Debt itself isn't good or bad. It's about the purpose. The sources draw a sharp line. The rich tend to borrow to build or invest. The poor tend to borrow to consume.
So good debt is borrowing for things that could generate more money than the debt costs, like a loan for a business expansion, or maybe to buy that rental property we just talked about.
Exactly. If the expected return on that investment is higher than the interest rate on the loan, then the debt is helping you build wealth faster. It's strategic. It creates potential cash flow.
And bad debt.
That's borrowing for stuff that just gets used up or goes down in value. Vacations on credit cards, financing furniture, using debt to maintain a lifestyle you can't actually afford. It just creates stress because you're paying interest on, well, on nothing. eventually.
This sounds like it could be risky, though, especially for someone without huge resources. Is the blueprint saying everyone should just go borrow money?
Oh, definitely not. It requires careful calculation and control. Using debt strategically means doing your homework, understanding the risks, the numbers, having a solid plan for how that debt will generate a return.
Like knowing your debt to equity ratios, things like that.
Absolutely. It's
How-
calculated risk. The wealthy might use debt to acquire an asset faster, habit 4,
Yeah.
but only if the numbers make sense. If you're just borrowing to buy more stuff or keep up appearances,
You're digging a hole.
you're just eroding your future ability to save and invest. The purpose of the debt is absolutely critical.
All right, let's shift gears slightly. We've talked mindset, saving, assets, debt. Now let's look at what the sources call the growth engine. These are habits that build you, your personal capacity. Starting with habit 6, resource investment. Education versus entertainment.
Yeah, this goes back to that 24-hour question. How is free time actually used?
The contrast is pretty stark again. The wealthy, when they have downtime, tend to lean into learning.
Active acquisition mode, you could call it. Reading things relevant to their field or investments, taking courses, listening to educational podcasts or audiobooks, honing skills. They see their mind as their number one asset.
Because every new skill can increase earning potential down the line. Linking back to that long-term view, habit 1.
Exactly. It compounds.
And the contrasting habit.
Passive consumption. The default for many. Binge watching, endless scrolling, just escape, using time to numb out rather than build up, seeking distraction over development.
Those sources had a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, entertainment gives you temporary escape. Education gives you permanent elevation. It structurally improves your ability to earn and operate.
So it's about prioritizing activities that raise your baseline.
Right. If you look at routines, the wealthy often carve out dedicated time, maybe an hour a day, just for learning. Elevation. That same hour spent on passive entertainment, compounded over years, the knowledge gap becomes enormous.
That commitment to learning seems like it would naturally influence who you spend time with.
Okay.
Which brings us to habit 7, environment matters. Networking up versus complaining across.
The Jim Rohn classic. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. The sources really lean into this.
It's not just about swapping business cards, is it?
No, not at all. It's about the standards and expectations that get normalized in your circle. The rich habit is intentionally seeking out people who operate at a higher level. Maybe they're more successful, more disciplined, more knowledgeable, people who challenge and inspire them.
They want to be pushed.
They want to be in rooms where they don't feel like the smartest or most successful person. They seek out mentorship, constructive criticism.
But isn't there a risk of that just being superficial? Like just trying to rub shoulders with important people?
That's a fair challenge. The blueprint distinguishes genuine networking, seeking knowledge, offering value, looking for mutual growth from just status chasing. The focus is on learning and operational excellence.
And the contrast, the complaining across.
That's staying in circles where struggle is the norm, where gossip, complaining about the system, blaming external factors, that's the main conversation. It feels comfortable, validating maybe, but it reinforces limiting beliefs.
It removes the friction needed for growth. If everyone agrees things are tough and it's not your fault, why change?
Exactly. Your environment acts as either an engine pulling you forward or an anchor holding you back. The advice here is pretty direct. If you want to level up, intentionally find environments that make you feel a little uncomfortable, a little stretched. That's where growth happens.
That discomfort is key, which probably prepares you for the next habit. Number 8, handling uncertainty. Calculated risk versus total avoidance. This is a big one.
Huge psychological hurdle, the fear factor.
And the core difference in perspective is fear of what?
For the poor habit, the dominant fear is losing money. The whole mindset is defensive. Protect what little you have at all costs.
Safety first, which it sounds prudent.
It sounds prudent, but it can be paralyzing. The wealthy habit, conversely, is often driven by a fear of missing opportunity. Their orientation is more offensive, looking for growth.
But risk sounds scary. People think gambling.
Right, and the sources are careful to differentiate. We're not talking about reckless gambling or chasing hot tips. We're talking about calculated risk.
Define that.
Calculated risk means doing the research, habit 6, making a plan, habit 10, maybe starting small, understanding the potential downsides, and then taking informed action. It's measured, prepared.
As opposed to just avoiding anything uncertain.
Exactly. Or taking purely emotional risks, like jumping on a bandwagon without understanding it.
Hmm.
But often, the biggest risk discussed here is simply avoiding change altogether, sticking with the safe option.
Because even the safe option isn't truly safe in the long run.
Not if you factor in inflation or missed growth opportunities. The sources argue you simply cannot build significant wealth by always playing defense. You need growth, and growth involves stepping out of the comfort zone.
You have to place some bets, but make them informed bets.
Informed, calculated bets. And understanding that even if a specific risk doesn't pay off financially, the knowledge gained from taking that calculated step is often an asset in itself. Habit 6. Zero risk guarantees zero growth. You have to eventually bet on your research and your plan.
Okay, we've covered a lot. Long-term vision, managing money flows, building assets, using debt smartly, investing in yourself, surrounding yourself with growth, taking calculated risks. Now, the final pieces. Execution. Starting with habit 9. Controlling impulse. Delaying gratification.
Yes, this brings us full circle back to that initial challenge of short-term versus long-term thinking. Habit 1. This is the behavioral muscle that makes the long-term win.
The ability to wait, to plant seeds and let them grow, rather than needing the harvest right now.
Precisely. The wealthy habit understands compounding requires patience. You invest, you build, you wait.
And the poor habit.
Demands the instant harvest. Needs the new phone now. Wants the upgraded car before the old one's even paid off. Uses credit to get that immediate dopamine hit of consumption or status. It's that constant pressure for the quick win.
It's deeply ingrained in our culture, isn't it?
Deeply. But the sources frame it very simply in terms of your future self. Every time you choose to delay gratification, maybe you invest that bonus instead of blowing it, or save for the down payment instead of leasing the fancier car, you are literally making your future self richer.
And every time you give in to impulse.
Your future self pays the price. With interest, with lost opportunity, with added stress. It's a daily choice. Are you helping future you or hurting future you?
That's a powerful way to think about it. That discipline, that willingness to wait seems like it requires, well, a plan, which is habit number 10, the necessity of action, having a plan.
The final unifying piece. Execution trumps everything. Every successful outcome we've discussed, from saving consistently to making investments, starts with some kind of plan.
This doesn't have to be perfect.
Oh, definitely not. It might be basic. It will almost certainly need adjusting along the way. But it provides direction. It's the starting point for action.
And the opposite, the trap.
Waiting. The sources list all the common excuses. Waiting for the perfect time to invest, waiting for the right job to start saving, waiting for the market to do something specific, waiting until you know more or feel ready.
Which often never comes.
It's usually just procrastination dressed up as prudence, avoidance disguised as planning. It keeps you stuck.
So the rich habit is just start, even with an imperfect plan.
Act on the imperfect plan. Get moving. They understand that 80% action based on a decent plan is far better than 100% planning that leads to zero action. You learn and adjust by doing.
Motion creates opportunity.
Exactly. Stasis is the enemy. A plan, even a flawed one, is the only way to break free from your current comfort zone and actually start building towards that long-term vision. Habit 1. The bottom line here is pretty stark. Excuse and protect comfort zones. Plans build empires.
Wow, okay. These 10 habits together, it really does feel like a complete blueprint, shifting from just reacting to life financially to proactively designing it. #tag outro, host, speaker, expert speaker.
Yeah, if you pull it all together, the big message from these sources isn't about getting lucky. It's about consistency, repetition, structure. It's what you do day in, day out, especially when nobody's looking.
Those small decisions, how you handle your paycheck, how you spend your evenings, whether you look at the numbers or look away.
That's where the difference is made. And that's actually quite empowering, isn't it?
It is, because it means the blueprint isn't locked away for a chosen few. It suggests anyone can start implementing these habits. You don't need a trust fund. You need to copy the operating system.
Right. The final takeaway is that wealth isn't just the amount in your bank account. It's fundamentally a mindset, a collection of behaviors you commit to. The moment you start thinking and acting according to this blueprint,
You're already on the path. Structurally, you're halfway there.
pretty much. And if you're listening and thinking, okay, where do I start? This is a lot. The sources actually boil it down to 3 crucial first steps. The foundation.
Okay, let's hear them. The immediate action steps.
1. Start tracking your money. Habit 3. Know where you stand. Face reality. No judgment. Just get the data.
Okay, track. Got it.
2. Save before you spend. Habit 2. Automate it if you can. Make saving the first non-negotiable bill you pay each month. Pay yourself first.
Pay yourself first.
Right.
And number 3,
3, learn before you earn. Habit 6, dedicate some time, maybe even just 30 minutes a day initially, to deliberate learning and skill building. Choose elevation over escape.
track, save first, learn first. Those 3 seem manageable.
They are manageable, and they build the foundation. Get those 3 locked in, and the other 7 habits start to fall into place much more naturally. They build the scaffolding for everything else.
Fantastic. Really practical advice drawn from a deep look at these habits. If you found this deep dive valuable, maybe share it with someone else who could use this blueprint.
Yeah, spread the knowledge.
Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.